Hi guys, today I would like to invite you for a special episode because it will be held in English. With me today it's Vigants. Hi Vigo.
Hi, Cesare.
So today we'll focus mainly on sales area. We'll talk about sales team restructuring, crucial factors that have an impact for rapid growth of the company, and everything will be based on Vigants' experience. But let's start from the beginning. Vigants, can you please say a few words about yourself and introduce yourself to the audience?
Oh yeah, my name is Vigants Lesausks. I'm a salesperson. How long as I remember myself, I'm always was in sales. Over 20 years, mostly here in Baltics, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia, like probably majority of the time. So yeah, I'm obsessed with sales, with actual B2B sales and with customers. And if you ask in Latvia around, then probably very pretty soon you will get my name coming up in business conversations when it comes to sales. As yeah, I'm crazy about it.
Crazy about. Okay, can you please say a few words about, like, let's say your experience, where you worked, what kind of stuff you've made there?
Yeah, so when I was young, I started as a programmer, but I was pretty bad programmer. So uh, as soon about 20 years old, I was moved to sales, and and that was probably why managers are good. They saw potential in me and offered to switch. So and since then I was in sales. So my career started early, and I was super lucky to get a job in Fortune 500 company as a salesperson. So obviously, first work and first position was crazy. I didn't know what I was doing. I was kicked around by managers, asked different things, discipline, CRMs, and everything looked and sounded so stupid. Why they do that? So, and then several years later, I got a invite for interview to IBM. So serious company, serious industry. That was finance industry in Latvia. So basically selling IBM servers to banks and insurances in region, which was crazy big opportunity. And I jumped on it, and I worked hard, and I succeeded until 2008, when happened this funny thing when all employees were invited in the office, and managers just said, that half of the room, you are free to go, like for no reason, because other than we can't afford everybody to stay. So, and immediately after that, I got lucky once again. I was invited to join Microsoft as a services sales executive, which was amazing journey there. I learned again a lot. I traveled to US. I saw Steve Ballmer. I learned so crazy many things about sales, large corporations. So after Microsoft, like after a few years, because they were tough years after crisis, it was very, very hard to sell. But I think I was there like 3 years. All quotas was very hard to reach, and it was like big pressure all the time. So after that, I left Microsoft and started helping different local businesses with the sales, since I had this experience from Microsoft. So my career turned into something very interesting, because one of my friends called me and asked, like, look, we have this startup. Since you are doing nothing, like just first months after Microsoft, maybe you can help us out. I had this unemployment support, so I was not worried much about money. So I helped him out, and I liked very much working with startups, because I saw like so many things I learned in big companies that they can be adapted to and in smaller scale and used in startups. And I helped my friend, and then one day I accidentally got into the room with a company called Skoro. There was founder Fred Krieger. He was in Latvia looking for partners, and so happened that he went to our my friend's office, and I was just walking to some customer meeting or something, and was invited. Okay, there's some new supplier. Maybe check it out. They have some CRM system. I went in. I had like 5 or 10 minutes because I had to run. I liked what they showed me. And since I met the customer next, I sold the product literally 1 hour later. Like, so it was so unbelievable because it was crazy. I had nothing. Like I had just, seen for a few minutes, but I liked it so much. And little by little, I joined company Scoro because I love that product. I still love it. And Scoro is a cloud CRM system, like Pipedrive or similar systems that you use. So, and I helped that company. There was only 8 employees. They were super startup early. I helped them grow business expand into Latvia and Lithuania. So that I spent there over 5 years, I think like 6 years or so, with Scoro, and we grow crazy.
What was the scale of the business when you leave the company after those years?
It was over 60 employees. Uh, yeah, from 8, I think I was number 9 or something employee. So it was pretty early in the company. All were Estonians, so I was the only one guy from Latvia, a random foreigner, first foreigner. So you can say that we just started this international expansion. Now there is probably over 150 or something employees so they kept growing. And we were very successful because when you have a startup, you need to kind of knock on the doors because no online marketing, nothing works yet. You don't have this, traction yet. So I was the guy who knocked on the doors in Latvia, Lithuania, together with. I hired some salespeople, junior salespeople, for like small salary and commission because we couldn't afford much. So we worked our asses off, and we were super successful. So we grew very fast, and I ended up with just my team, Latvia, Lithuania sales were 12 people, which were pretty big compared to company size. And we were selling a lot of CRMs and so. And then investor came in, and that was all the way, like all the time. That was the strategy. And the investor came in, and then the Scoro started scaling even faster. But then was time to move to online customer acquisition. So the direct sales teams were kind of scaled back a little bit. So and then I moved on to other job from there. But I was still a small shareholder for a long time in that company, and that was something really fun. And since then, somehow life started offering me different challenges. Customers came by and say, "Look, we have this issue. We can't hire you for full time. Can you kind of help us just solve this issue? Like, can you join company for 2 months or 3 months and solve one or two problem, or just part time, like 1 day a week, and or do training for our sales team because we want that what you had in Scoro." And why they knew, because we sold Scoro to them. Like, I met a lot of sales managers and CEOs, so they knew what we are doing, and they wanted to have their teams the same thing that we had going.
Do you have like any, let's say, particular expertise in the industry when it comes to the sales area, or you can work in, let's say, any industry?
The funny or the good thing with selling CRM system is that you every day see different industry. You see sales team in like from construction to lawyers to accountants to crazy, like to event planners, radios, media, like everything. So I'm not expert in one specific industry, but I have seen and implemented or helped implement CRMs in hundreds of different industries. So it gives me, I'm a really good expert on the sales process, but not on like industry itself, which gives me edge. It means I can cross transport good practices from one industry to another, and I trust the teams that they know the product. I can come in and say like, look, try this one. It feels like this thing could work for you.
And now we are working at, because like we not finished your story, I would say, when it comes to your career path.
And then I had a couple of engagements where were like year or more. So like big challenges that somebody literally calls and says, Vigant, I have an offer you will not be able to refuse. And one of those was where 2 years ago, one of investment fund called me and they said, look, we are buying one company. We need to replace management there. Could you come in and be CEO of a toy factory outside of Riga, like quite far from home? I'm like, that's new. Sounds cool. Let's do it. And so literally over a couple of months, I became a CEO of a factory, actual factory, with a long history, with some conservative processes, maybe. And that was something very fun because I never run a factory or even don't know much about production, but it was a great time, and we did a great job there, growing and so on. So yeah, and now I'm running for actually it's a full-time job now for 3-4 months, 4 months now. Running sales team across the world. We have in software industry, we're selling software for specific very narrow niche of customers worldwide. We have 5 teams across the globe, sales guys, over 40 people. So yeah, we have all stack of sales processes from cold calls to, I don't know, to very large, long projects with long sales cycles.
Yeah, like this is you've mentioned many things, so let's go through them. And I would like to ask about what was the, let's say, typical case that, because you mentioned that you worked as a, let's say, interim slash consultant for some time, and the question is, what was the most common problems that you've seen in the companies? Like, what doesn't work? What was the request from the owners?
Okay, I can just go through just the biggest ones. So one was industrial lighting company. The owners, I remember the day we sit at the table, I asked like, what is the biggest challenge? Literally, I asked like that. They said, look, we want to attract investor. The problem is investors look to invest only in companies that grows like fast. We need for a year, maximum 18 months, grow super fast, no matter what. And then we can get investor. Otherwise, we are too slow to grow. The business was good, it was profitable, everything's cool. But investors don't look at companies that doesn't grow, right? So I came in, I had everything allowed me to do, whatever it takes, growth. So new contract signed. Oh, I focused for over a year purely on streamlining processes without growing team much, but on just get new deals through the doors, like sign them, not deliver, but just sign, because the business was capital intensive. It means they had a portfolio, so they go to investors and says, only money is missing, so we can grow even faster and everything's cool. And we did 2.5 times sales. We grow sales. Like, it was crazy. Actually, at one point, the sales were too fast for the company, and the company almost died in terms of cash flow. Yeah, just they couldn't afford to stock so much product and source so much and finance this. But and the investor decision was like a little bit postponed, so we were like on the edge all the time. But then investor came in, and and all was cool. And this is a sort of crisis in the companies, because if you grow fast, typically other departments, other teams can't catch up. They think they want that. They think they will handle it, but once you are there, it's not as romantic as it sounds, because customers start getting anxious why deliveries are late and stuff like that, and but it ended well. Everything ended well.
Yes, so like I would like to go deeper. Like, what's your what's your approach when you're entering the company, and like as I assume like you had the first interview and you verified where is the problem or the initial problem that it's mentioned by the owner. So what kind of actions you used to take to like verify where is the, let's say, exact problem, or how do you work with those companies?
Yeah, the first is diagnostics. Diagnostics is simple. You look at the sales pipeline.
What we can see there.
Yes. Is it a CRM? Is it a Excel or some spreadsheet? Or sometimes it's a CRM, but actually most often it's actual simple spreadsheet or some deals that they're working on. And this tells me a lot. It tells me like, do we have some low hanging fruits or not? The second, I look at the sales activities. What like KPIs? Do the salespeople meet the customers? What kind of customers they are focused on? Is it like a smaller, middle, or larger customers? I look at the product, like who the product is for. Actually, have an interesting framework called the value map.
And is it your own, or it's something that is?
No, it's international concept, but I actually haven't seen companies using it. So basically, there is a 40 value brackets for a product. So I go through it and try to understand who this product or service is for. And once I find it, I just double check if the sales teams are actually communicating the value to those decision makers who actually benefit the most. And when you do this exercise, it takes a couple of hours only, actually quite fast. In most cases, the owner's like, "Oh, man, you're talking to the wrong people and the wrong companies." Like, and it's easy and it's so obvious even, right? But like you do this one exercise with the owners and maybe head of sales or something, and suddenly everybody understands, okay, we are talking to purchase managers, but we have to talk to marketing officers, for example, or CEOs. So, and then I check the CRM and activities and look like how many time we are spending on right contacts. And then the action plan is, okay, let's switch over fully that we talk only to those decision makers that we want, at the customers that we want, the sizes, industries, or maybe some other parameters depending on our service or product. So, and this then becomes super hard. At that point, it becomes hard because this is change management. Imagine you have a sales team that works with inbound leads or works with small customers, and now you say, okay, now we are active sales, cold calling, or networking, and we want this kind of specific customers. Then there is sabotage in teams. Then there is like crying, this never works. We tried, it's impossible. They don't need us, and we can't deliver. And it's like I have heard this every single time. And this is where comes change management and emotional intelligence, because this is the hardest part to slowly with white gloves implement those step-by-step things into everyday sales processes. Yes. And every salesperson knows, if I tell you careful, if I tell you are doing wrong, now you have to do like this, the first reaction is you don't know anything about our industry. You are like
Our business, yes, yeah. Like,
yeah. And there is some truth to it. So you discuss, you understand, and you go through it, and then you change. But once it kicks off and first customers come in, the team just positively explodes. They're like, damn, we were doing wrong for so long time. And then the results just go through the roof.
yeah. So from your perspective, what are the key factors when it comes to change management? Because like I know that this very, let's say, hard topics when it comes to changing something, when it comes to the people that working so long in a one way. So what's your key, let's say, factors when it comes to that?
Emotional intelligence. So the people especially the senior sales, that the guys who did this job for a long time, for 5-10 years, they definitely will not allow you to even little bit change them. They up to the point that you will be screamed at. Or in one case, I actually had brutally attacked with fists during the meeting.
Really?
So it's so crazy. But and emotional intelligence is important, is that you understand them, you understand they are angry, you understand you are shaking their world, you understand that with some changes, they see it as a bad feedback to whatever they have achieved so far. Yes. So balancing out this kind of respect to what was done with the needed changes to achieve the new goal, the new direction, is very important. And in most cases, those companies were smaller, so it means they had freedom to do whatever they want. And now when they grow into something bigger, they suddenly need some process to implement. They need a CRM system. They need some reporting. They need some time management or monitoring. They need stuff like that wasn't asked before. Yes. And it's not because I want to show my control or CEO wants to control. Just we move into database decisions. And if you don't have this data, you can't make those decisions. And no matter the personality. In some cases, this change means that the team loses some senior salespeople who definitely don't want to change. But in most cases, the young sales guys raise and actually deliver crazy results. Yes. So, and I have this framework also done. I think it's adapted from different parts, but I use it like my flavor of assessing the team. That each and every salesperson in the team I assess in three parameters or three categories. So the first one is discipline. Like I look at it objectively, how much activities this person delivers. Like, is he grinding basically, or she? Yeah. So calls or meet. Second one is coachability. Is the person open to try new things, even knowing that maybe it will not work? Yes, because obviously change means also trying new stuff, getting results, understanding what works, what doesn't work. In many cases, it doesn't work, right? But coachability is key because people will actually try and read and try again, adapt a little bit, listen to other colleagues and share the knowledge and so on. And the third one is result. Result, like past result. The problem in sales is that every day you have to reset that you have zero sales. Like if you want to be good, every day you have to start like I have nothing. Otherwise, you will start sitting on some past achievements and lose your own energy, your inner hunger. Yes. So when I look at results, past results, I try to give this appreciation to the people who delivered results. But at the same time, I say, look, but every first date of the month, all of us are the same page. We all have zero sold this month, right? So let's see at the end of the month now how this leg we can deliver, right? And then the salespeople, especially junior salespeople, they understand, oh, I have a chance to be up there with the rest of them because I don't have background like history of deals, but I can be this month. So through this, you refocus the team on experimenting, on discipline, on meeting those customers, on meeting right customers, on delivering results now, this month.
Yeah, you mentioned like that the one part of your work, the important part is like some kind of discipline. Do you have some routines that you, let's say, repeat every week, every day that help you to deliver the results with your team?
It will sound crazy, but I think Scoro was the key for me. If it's not in CRM, it hadn't been done. So simple as that. If somebody comes in and says, "Yeah, had 10 meetings or something," said, "Nope, you haven't. I don't see." So what I do during sales meeting, I show live data to everybody, like what we did as a team or individually, depending how you have the report or dashboard, last week or last month. And you don't have to even point out specific people, but they see they have done less than the others, right? So without coming and telling, "Look, you are not doing great," they can see this leaderboard of activities. So so this meeting, this is about past what he have done. The second one is Monday morning meetings. So they are short, and each salesperson has to tell only 3 things. So 3 deals, but 3 things about each deal. So you have to mention what 3 deals you will be working this week on. You have to mention the company, you have to mention the amount, and you have to mention what kind of help do you need from other colleagues. Why this is important? We refocus on larger deals. So imagine you are telling, "Okay, I'm working on this deal that is amount 1 million," and I come in, "Oh, I'm working on this deal that has 10K revenue." Like, ah, yeah. So what happens? People understand that they need to refocus on the key deals. So over time, all of them learn to focus on larger deals. And then the Monday, they give this public commitment that this is what I'm working on. Second, and that's why it's important the amount. Yes. So that, but the last one is what kind of help you need. And this is critical. Like if the person says, "No, I have everything," basically he has no argument end of the week to tell that I didn't had like product demo or whatever. Yeah. Or this is the time to tell what kind of help you need. And sometimes there is valid points. They say, "Oh, I need this approval for the pricing," or I need this uh, approval from legal on special terms or stuff like that. Yeah. Which is okay. Then CEO or sales manager, they know, okay, to move these deals, these are the obstacles I can help overcome salesperson to, because the key deals, the largest deals, they actually move the needle for a week, right? So this helps us to refocus every Monday morning on things that matter. 3 things, 3 deals. Obviously, there are companies where you work with more deals and smaller that maybe does not work for you. But if you have, let's say, sales cycle of 2, 3, 6 months, then this approach helps a lot. But every Monday, then when during COVID, when you could not have this meeting, what we did, we had a chat in WhatsApp group where every Monday, every salesperson had to write that down. So you write, "This week, my focus is this, this, this." Yeah. So even when you couldn't have a meeting, you can do. Also, I took the same approach when I was a CEO of company. And to my management team, we had the same. We couldn't meet every Monday, but every Monday, even without COVID, all of us, including myself, we wrote in the chat, like management chat, what are 3 focus points for me this week? So what happened, the management team also aligned very well, understood that, okay, this person has this thing which is more important for him this week. I don't know, some audit or some for finance people, maybe there is some discussion with the bank or maybe some finance report you have to finish or something like that, right? Or shareholder meeting to prepare. So everybody understood, and also what others do, and also what are the priorities for your team members. And in some cases, there was very good synergies where they said, "Oh yeah, I will move away from there, so you can do," or "I will jump in and help you do it better," or something like that. So yeah.
You said that like after you enter the company, you're making these interviews, let's say in that way, you're verifying what is the low-hanging fruits. So do you have some kind of framework how to do that, how to define that? Okay, so it's low-hanging fruit for a company.
Typically, those low-hanging fruits are in form of, let's focus on larger customers. But like the fast results is going through the pipeline, and especially late stage pipeline, the ones where we qualified leads, where we work on. Yes. So where we know decision maker, where we know that what they want and our product fits more or less their needs. Yeah. So focusing and having very clear action plan to close those deals. This is like the lowest hanging fruit you can find. So if you feel like you are slowing down, this is the first place to look for it. Right. In the medium term, it's discipline. Like, are we meeting those decision makers? So just look into pipeline, CRM, look into what kind of people we are meeting and refocus. So just free up time by saying like, let's deprioritize those SMB customers or give it to junior sales or sales assistants or something, and senior sales focus on that. If you have a revolving sales, let's say you have partners and they are buying all times some equipment or materials from you, then definitely have a business review. So have a round of quarterly business review or yearly business review with each of your biggest customers. Just sit down, ask them the questions, because what happens, the senior sales typically says, yeah, but they know what we are selling. I'm like, yeah, but you sit down and ask more. Maybe something changed. Maybe there's some issues and they can buy even more, right? Or there's a new product or a new demand that they don't know that we are also selling it, right? So, and this is also very good for those businesses where you have those ongoing relationships with the customer where you sell a lot. So quarterly business review or monthly. In some businesses, like in our current business with the largest of our suppliers, let's suppliers also the same, we have weekly meetings, even like just to make sure that like all topics, because obviously there's a lot of things that needs to be sorted out, and even if to check in, like what's the progress or so on, and to set priorities straight.
Yeah. Based on your experience, like what are the key factors that make the rapid growth? Like focusing only on the sales team, I mean.
If you look at the sales team, the key factors is definitely going after larger customers, going after decision makers, and cleaning up the pipeline. What I mean by this, literally saying no to small customers and to customers we really can't sell to. Because sometimes salespeople, good salespeople, they kind of grow the fur with the small customers that eat their time. The biggest change with this industrial lighting company I mentioned, where we had to grow, where we grown 2.5 times, was one change and one change only. That was had the biggest impact. It was a previous sales director who was demoted to senior salesperson. He was salesperson. He still was in the company. He was not successful as a sales director, but I came in and we all respected each other and he understood. And I asked him one thing. He had a pipeline of 700 opportunities. Yes. So, and he was running around closing some deals and stuff, and he was very busy. And some of them were obviously like from other salespeople who left and so on. I asked him, and that conversation was very tough. I asked him to leave only 10 opportunities. So his first reaction was like, Vigant, you really want me to go out of this company? You want to fire me? Then just say so. I said, no. I want you with your skills, and he was really good salesperson, and he still is good salesperson. Yeah. I want you to focus on the 10 customers from all of it. You will choose, but choose the biggest, baddest, like, I don't know, customers you believe has the biggest opportunities and potential. And that's it. After 2 weeks, due to negotiation, he ended up with 20. 10 was like, 10 was for him, no. So he ended up with 20. We actually fixed in his employment contract, this 20, that he will not get bonuses from anybody else, because I felt like he was like still, so I said like, okay, you have this at the end of the contract. These are only 20 opportunities and customers that you will work with, and you will get paid for those. Anything else is off the table. And then, like after a month or so, he was still walking around, strange looking at me. And then he started focusing, and he sold crazy deals. He actually had time to go to those big municipalities and close industrial lighting, like whole cities changed lights. So deals like that. Before, he just didn't have time because he was balancing, okay, should I close this smaller deal today, or should I have those 2 meetings with some customer that maybe someday will buy, right? So refocusing him to these larger deals were super good results, like in terms of volumes. But the conversations were tough. They were tough.
Yeah.
Right.
This is super interesting topic, because like we are back into the change management, let's say, because I have an impression that people can have some kind of impression that they are losing money. If we would like to say, okay, we have to refocus, just focus on 10. So what kind of strategies you have for this kind of stuff? Like let's say that we have account executives, like 10 of them, and we have to convince them that not focus on those small one, but focus only on those that matters for us.
There is approach. This approach is called account-based selling. So I just I have the document where the account-based selling is described. I come with the person, I show them, and I explain the sales strategy or methodology. Yes. So it's a reverse pipeline sales. So like if you haven't if you heard first time account-based selling, just write in ChatGPT or online or somewhere account-based selling. So the idea is that you first select those large ones and focus on those. The change management comes into giving the person praise and saying, you are the best guy to do this. Like if we were to succeed only because you are so good, nobody else can do that in our company, for example. So you show them that this is not a penalty, that this is only chance we will actually grow because of your experience, because of your knowledge. And if you will focus on those, we will get like rolling crazy good. Yeah. So without insulting the person, without changing them as a person, but finding like parallel path where we both believe actually will result in something bigger and crazy amounts. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's actually very dependent on a compensation policy in the company. So if the compensation rewards immediate deals every month, and the salesperson needs to deliver in order to survive, to put the food on the table, they will not change it, because this change means maybe going hungry for a couple of months until you land those big deals. Yes. And people automatically choose something where they get small amount, but now instead of something big, but down the road, and maybe with the risk. It typically comes also with this conversation about salary, like fixed salary, about variable part of the salary, about things we are focusing on. Sometimes companies introduce bonuses, advances, so that you say, okay, we believe you will close this deal down the road, but what if we pay you €1,000 a month bonus advance? So when you get that bonus, it's kind of risk splitting, right? When you get that bonus, whatever you got in advance, we will subtract, but you still will make it, right? So just you need to be creative and understand the person on deep personal level. Why he's against it? Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's ego, sometimes it's something else. And once you find it, you just make around the motivation system so that the person feels. Sometimes, like in one case, it was just title. Like this person say, yeah, but I will make you VIP customer sales manager, and he was like, yeah. Like it was not on the ladder; it was like out of the blue. Like and he was so happy and proud, because for him it was recognition that he wanted. Yeah, so to feel more important. And also we changed his office location from open space to have a separate office, and we had spare, but yeah, and for him it was a lot.
From your experience, how much time people need to adapt to the change?
It's about coachability.
Okay.
Some people who are extremely coachable, like very open to everything, for them it's 5 minutes. They head there, like, okay, whatever say, oh yeah, it's cool, let's do it. For some, it takes year and they can't let it go. If it takes a year, especially, there's a salespeople who had previous good track record, but now not selling. They're within company for 10 years. Owners respect them because of them. The company grow, and stuff like that. You have to find the exit way for them, like respectable exit. Yes, and it's hard. There will be a lot of questions, but once if they don't change over the year, they become toxic. They try to convince everybody else that this change is stupid. You see, it's not working, and they see only non-working parts of the strategy or approach, and you have to exit them. Just find a way to exit it. Or other signs are when they are publicly aggressively against it. As I mentioned in this case, when I had this attack with the fists, the person was like, I was sitting there and not understand. Okay, the situation was as follows. There was very large customer, old customer, and salesperson who was in company for many, many years. So the thing was that customer wanted one of our products for very low price. Literally, we were making zero on it. So every time the truck went out of out the doors, out of our building, we were making zero money. Then the energy prices fluctuated and we started losing money. So I told him, like, look, we should raise prices for this customer or we will stop selling this product. And he's like, no, it's important. The customer said, look, every time truck leaves our facility, we're losing like 500 or 1,000 euros. Like for us, better is just not do it at all. Or you should talk to the customer and convince him that he needs to pay more. Otherwise, it's not sustainable. And he became angry that why this is so good customer. I know him for so long time and we will die without this customer. And like, look, I didn't ask you to sell me his agenda. I asked you to sell him our agenda. Yeah. So, and for a couple of weeks, and then we decided we should let go of this sales guy because the other sales guys were obviously listening and seeing, right? And it impacted that they also tried to push the customer agenda into the company, which is not right. Yeah. So end of day, who you work for? You work for company, not the customer. Yes. Yes, if you see opportunities, you can kind of connect customer needs with company interests. But if customer needs are above company interests and we are losing money or selling wrong product or non-strategic product and we are just, every day getting worse and worse because of it, then you should listen and you should think who feeds you, who feeds your family. And these sales guys, they somewhere down the road lost this idea why we are doing. Maybe at some point in history we needed this product just to scale up or something, but now we don't. And so these are the toughest, and you have to be prepared to let them go.
I have in my mind one question that appears just when you mention this kind of price stuff. So when is time, like for you, when you're entering the company, to take a look for the pricing strategy? Or is it not your case? You're just focusing on like finding other customers, bigger one that will be able to pay those amount of money.
When I go through this value map and when I understand who is the biggest benefactor of the product or service we provide, it actually starts showing you better the landscape. What is the value the customer is getting of this service? So, and then you start reevaluating your kind of who do you compare to? Like, because in most cases, what happens if you talk to purchase managers, they show the competitors' pricing and you are just stuck head in head with the competitors' pricing and they are the same. So you have price wars. If you talk to decision makers, there is additional value to be found. Like, I don't know, you are closer, you have better quality, you have shipping you can do more often in smaller batches, or you have features that are not considered on when the price comparison is being done. So during value map, you understand, okay, I can be more expensive. In some cases, in very few cases, when I see the company is running out of resources, like including myself. So, okay, example on myself. So each person has one limited time, resource, it's time. If I do consulting or sales trainings, I look, my calendar is full. Why would I offer for low price to work on Saturdays and Sundays? Right? So I'm not taking the next project, or I'm pricing the way that I'm comfortable to say no to someone from existing customers. And so you just say, let's say you come in and say, I need to 1 day a week your time to join our team, help with whatever things. And I ask you, okay, we will agree on 2,000 euros a month, let's say, for this 1 day a week. And on the other hand, I have some other customer who is paying 1,000 a month. So I can come back to that customer and say, sorry, I have limited resources. I will not be able to help you so much, but maybe let's move your business to per call. And you have issue, you let me know. I will try to help you out. So you optimize the limited resource. And if you're running out of limited resource, you should raise price. Even if the market says, no, it's not competitive. You sometimes you can raise a lot, sometimes not so lot. In sales training business, my personal, I stack myself against other sales trainers here in the market. And at one point, probably like 4 or 5 years ago, I decided I will charge whatever is the highest price I have seen. Like if somebody offers training day for 2,000 euros, that's my price. Somebody starts offering 250, like the best in the market. Okay, from now on, my price is 250. So 2,500 per day. So, and it sounds crazy, but the amount of work did not reduce. I still had full calendar. Just I get paid much better end of the day. Yeah. So, and this summer, beginning of this summer, it was so crazy that my calendar was double overbooked. So to deliver all the projects, I had to double my time. So what happened is that came in this customer or this company that I work for. They came in and they said, "Oh, we want to work with you." And we were discussed like half a year ago. I said no, and then they came back and they say, "Look, you named the price at which you are ready to delete everything in your calendar, like select all, delete." And I came back with the number. Said, "Okay, sounds crazy. This is the number." They said, "Yes, no negotiation. We give you this number." So I literally next day select all, delete. So you had to be ready to fire customers. So when I was talking about pricing, you have to be ready to fire some of the customers if they are not ready to pay for the product price you need. Because sometimes there are old customers who pay this price and this conversation might be not comfortable. I'm surprised I have a home security system I installed probably like 16 or 17 years ago. And this security company, they still may charge the same amount every month as they did 16 years ago. I'm like, guys, you definitely should double the price, right? So imagine, and they are fine with it. I'm fine with it. So whatever, right? But if they come back and say, no, it's a little bit more, like €5 a month, it's cool. I mean, they're doing a great job. I haven't left them, right? So just those uncomfortable conversation needs to, and sometimes the customer says, look, I unfortunately can't afford then anymore your service. Then you say, okay, can we then agree that for a year or half a year, the pricing stays the same, but after that I will raise it. So you have time to adapt and, stuff like that. You don't do overnight. You also have to understand this customer and his situation. Maybe they had some budget or they need to pricing their product, your product or service, because if it's part of some other, because they might have commitments in tenders, and if you raise prices, suddenly they are not able to fulfill their obligations down the road. And so you have to kind of balance it out.
Let's move to the another part of this interview. Let's talk about the use case. What's the way that you're working? So let's structure it a little bit. So like to show the problem, what was the situation, what kind of consequences you had, and what was the solution. If you can like present like.
Yeah, I already mentioned those cases, but let's go through once again, maybe a little bit. So one was this industrial lighting company. So the problem was there. They needed to grow fast, the sales, right, to attract investors. So simple as that, go in, restructure, refocus that team to larger customers because they couldn't afford to grow the team. So get rid of the smaller deals in the pipeline, refocus on larger deals, and refocus on closing. They had pretty good pipeline, just the closing was the first issue. And when it comes to new customers, we go only after large customers, no small deals. So introduction of a minimum deal size so that we don't go below some certain level. So and then it was focusing on discipline that we actually deliver and do what we agreed on across the whole team, and it helped us a lot, like a lot. And the CRM system, I helped them. They had a pipe drive, but it was, I'd say, not in good order. So they did great job, and I introduced some data discipline and data, like every Friday CRM had to be squeaky clean. We had this internal rule. So before you leave for a weekend, you have to have this squeaky clean pipeline. So no overdue activities, no opportunities without next steps. Like the things that every salesperson hate to hear. Yeah, and it helped us a lot because when investors came in, they wanted to see pipeline, and it was easy to show. It was dashboard. It looked nice, and it was real. So every salesperson knew, they saw the history, so they also was confident that growth could continue and they can invest in it. So that was the solution. And it sounds simple, but like senior sales guy, you had to take away a pipeline from him, right? So the execution was maybe complicated, but at the end of the day, we were very successful with that. So yeah, I hope I kind of summarized that situation.
Structure, yeah, for sure. So when it comes to your plans, now you're, let's say, dedicated for one company. So where are you going? What's your plans like when it comes to your career path?
Yeah. So right now, I have yes, this company. I have great large team. There is plenty of challenges in the company, in the sales. I mean, in the form of discipline, data quality, and like all the list you typically have, skill improvement. So we focus a lot on the same things, going after larger customers, improving our sales, changing the processes, increasing data quality from sales for sales processes, so we can make those database decisions and optimize. So a lot of the same things, but that much larger multicultural structure, because you have a lot of teams and they are across different regions in the world. Like working with Brazilians is not the same as working with Germans. Yeah, so believe me, they're more emotional, they're more outspoken, and the same goes with other cultures. Yeah, so and that's okay. That's okay. So aligning all the teams, that we understand the things the same way, that we understand what we are going after, and so on. So yeah, and I like it because I can practice all the arsenal or all the knowledges that I have. I'm also reporting to shareholders directly, so it's also kind of very high accountability that is asked for. So it helps me and gives me this, uh, maybe it's not the right word, but playground to execute all of it, and there is plenty to do and so on. And on evenings and Saturdays, I have some uh, course. I teach at university, so I'm very passionate to share my sales passion with new professionals. So and most of the students like it when I do the sales course, because they kind of see sales as a profession, not something people do and just be annoying by when calling selling something. They see someone who is successful in that profession. They see that this profession is actually really cool, the same like engineer or lawyer or something. And I personally believe, and I show them different approaches, show them different tips and tricks how to do stuff. And since I'm from business, the university also is very keen to have me there, since they are focused on practical knowledge to be to teach to students instead of some random books, which are not incorrect, but like this practical application is what helps you out of the university immediately start applying to your businesses, right?
Yeah,
So
right. Like I have like one additional topic, let's say, to touch, because you mentioned that for the part some period of time you were the, let's say, interim or consultant, and you've mentioned that like for the companies that, for example, don't have enough money for the full-time employee. So what kind of benefits from your perspective are for the companies that can afford of the let's say the full-time employee, but maybe they considering this interim with the like the with the knowledge across the markets?
yeah, I would suggest get a mentor, paid mentor. So find someone you admire. Uh, like I'm mentor for a couple of companies too. So well, find someone you believe that he has knowledge that you don't have, and offer or have a, I don't know, bi-weekly call for 1 hour or 2 hours or something like that, and just ask questions like, look, we have this issue. We are thinking to do like this. What do you think? Maybe there is a better way, and so on. And have this mentor, or maybe a couple of mentors, like one for marketing, one for sales, one for, I don't know, finance management. So startups who has less capital, you don't need full-time expert because they will be bored there. Like simply, they will be doing job that they will be overqualified and expensive, right? But having these mentors, I don't say consultants per se, but mentor. Like literally, reach out to someone who is maybe not from your industry, so they don't have like conflict of interest. But if your industry is very friendly, maybe you can get also someone from industry, and just tell me what can I do better or help me out. And I love doing this personally. And now I have only one company that I'm mentoring, and I'm totally fine with that. But sometimes I have two companies, and then they kind of reach the point when they don't need it anymore. They kind of figure it out, and that's totally fine. Or they grown into a company where they can hire full-time sales manager or something. But these mentoring sessions help you as a CEO also look differently. You rent the brain of anyone, and nowadays you can do it like if I would decide to start business in Poland, I don't know anything about business in Poland, right? So I will call you or someone and say, maybe you know someone who works in that industry, or on LinkedIn I find out, reach out and say, look, can I hire you for a couple of hours? I will pay you, I don't know, 500 euros. You don't need to share commercial information, nothing, but I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions, like which city would be better to open office in? What I should keep in mind when managing Polish employees? Or what about taxation or something or whatever? So and you can find those people and they will be happy to share. And if you don't feel the person knows what you need to know in that industry or something, it's fine. You just don't hire it, find someone else on specific. And before you actually invest in country, you spent, I don't know, a couple of €1,000, but your risk level is definitely down.
Limited, yes, you're right. Great, thank you very much for your experience sharing with us, and I wish you good luck when it comes to your next challenges on the market.
Thank you, and have fun.